What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have information on our boy Jiaoqiu. He was drip marketed a few weeks ago, and we finally got some numbers to go along with him. So that is what I'm going to be discussing today. Keep in mind, this is a version 1 kit for Jiaoqiu, so this is definitely going to end up changing in the released version. But at least we got some preliminary data on how we can expect this character to play. So, and just real quick, as a quick reminder, Firefly does come out in a few hours or tomorrow, depending on where you are. And if you're looking for Jades at a discounted price, check the link below in the description. Lootbar.gg, you guys already know. Go check it out, get some Jades, help your boy out. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Jiaoqiu is looking like a really strong debuffer, so let's go ahead and deep dive into his kit to see what it does. Basic is a standard basic 100% fire damage and 20 energy. All right, skill deals fire damage equal to 90% of Jiaoqiu's attacks to a single target enemy and half that amount to adjacent enemies. So this is kind of like a blast hit, kind of like Guinaifen. He plays a lot like Guinaifen. And this multiplier, this 90 multiplier we see right here is going to be at level 1 trace. I'm pretty sure at level 10 trace is going to be either 180 or 200. One of those two is going to be the end of the level 10 multiplier. And then 100% base chance to inflict 1 stack of Rose to Ash. This is going to be his signature debuff, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. For the ultimate, one key factor about the ultimate is that it is currently 100 energy, which means that he's going to be able, with an energy regen rope, he's going to be able to skill basic skill into the ultimate, which means that since this ultimate lasts for 3 turns, and I'm going to explain a little bit more what it actually is, you're going to be able to have 100% uptime. The only problem is that it's going to be a skill point negative rotation, but we'll discuss that in the rotation section. The ultimate sets the number of ash roast stacks on the enemy targets, the highest amount of ash and roast stacks present on the battlefield. So this, what it means is that whenever you do the ult, whatever enemy has the most amount of ash and roast, or roast to ash, or whatever it's called, everybody's gonna get the max amount. So if you have one enemy at 5, it's gonna spread it across the field. Everybody's gonna have 5. It's going to also activate a field that deals fire damage to equal to 120% up to 240 of Jiaoqiu's attack to all enemies. So it's an AoE hit. While inside the field, enemies target take 9% up to 18%. I'm pretty sure this is going to be 15% at level 10 trace. Increased ultimate damage with a 50 up to 65. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a max of 60% base chance of being inflicted with 1 stack of Ash and Roast when taking action, and it lasts for 3 turns. So essentially, this is going to enable your ultimates to do more damage. Off the rip, Acheron is a clear synergy with this ultimate right here, and since you are aiming to have 100% uptime, your ultimates with Acheron are going to be doing at least 15% more damage, which is really good because Acheron's ultimate damage is off the charts. And yeah, we already know how strong Acheron is, so this is going to be a really nice addition to whatever Acheron is doing. All right, first telling, when Jiaoqiu uses his basic attack, skill, or ultimate to hit an enemy, there is a 100% base chance of dealing 1 stack of Roast to Ash, increasing the initial damage enemies receive by 7.5, with each stack additionally increasing damage by 2.5% to a max of 5 stacks. Roast to Ash will last 2 turns. So essentially, this is another vulnerability debuff. And with the calculations, we don't really know what level 10 traces is going to be. I'm going to just average it out at 30% for the talent. It could be more. I'm pretty sure like that's the bare minimum. Like I think it can be more. I think it actually is more, but for now, because we don't have full numbers, I'm just going to put it at 15. And then this vulnerability up here with the extra 15, we're going to have 45% vulnerability on an ultimate hit. So that's pretty good for Acheron. And then for every other hit, we're going to have about 30% vulnerability. Again, this is subject to change, and also we don't have the level 10 trace information as of right now. So I'm just going to average this out at 30% vulnerability. After using technique, creates a special dimension in the last 15 seconds. After engaging enemies in the dimension, deals fire damage equal to 100% of Jiaoqiu's attack to all enemies, and has a 100% base chance of applying 1 roast to ash stack. Only 1 dimension created by Alice can exist at a time. So essentially, this is going to start the battle with a 1 stack on every enemy, and then deals a little bit of damage to the enemies whenever they start the battle. All right, as far as the rotation, you are going to do a basic skill, because our boy Jiaoqiu has 100 energy as of right now, which means that if you start with 5 and you scale basic skill, you're going to have 85 energy total. If you multiply that by 1.194, which is the energy regen rope, you're going to have about 106 energy, which is enough for you to do your ultimate. And that means that you're going to have 100% field uptime just using your energy regen rope, which is really nice. The only drawback is that this playstyle is going to be a skill point negative playstyle, so you're going to have to compensate with another character, or with just managing your skill points a little bit more effectively. All right, moving on to the traces. When the field exists, the enemy's effect hit rate is reduced by 30%. At the start of each turn, they receive additional fire damage equal to 150% of Jiaoqiu's attack. This does not specify that it is a dot. However, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up changing this for it to be a dot, because he is an agility character. But as of right now, this is just a additional fire damage that acts like a dot. It's not a dot as of right now. The second trait is when Jiaoqiu's effect hit rate is higher than 80. For each 15% exceeding 80, Jiaoqiu is going to additionally gain 60% attack up to a maximum of 240. So this is a really, really nice attack scaling with effect hit rate. And getting to max this out, you're going to need about 140 effect hit rate, which is really easy to obtain if you have obviously the right light cone. But it's not a drag. It's not really hard to obtain. And you don't have to farm weird sets like the Pan Cosmic, which is a pain to farm. You can get 140 effect hit rate. If you just focus speed, effect hit rate, and attack, you should be fine. And then as far as the trace stats, he has 28% effect hit rate, 14.4 fire damage, and 5 speed, which are all incredibly strong for the kid that he is trying to accomplish. Now, there's not really much damage that he's going to be doing. He does a little bit of extra fire damage on turn, which acts kind of like a dot, but you're not really going to be focusing too much on buffing him so he can do that much damage, especially if it's not a dot. You do want to stack as much effect hit rate as possible. Obviously, you want speed boots, and you're going to want to run some attack chest, because it does boost the extra fire damage. And if he ends up actually converting into a dot, dots actually stack off attack as well. So stacking as much attack and speed and effect hit rate as you can is probably the way to go. Because of that, he has a lot of set and relic set combinations you can do. You can do a 2-piece pioneer, 2-piece attack, 2-piece fire. You can do any of those. It really doesn't matter. All of these contribute to his fire dot ultimate damage. They contribute to all of it. So he's really, really flexible when it comes to relics. In my opinion, Von Walk is probably going to be the best for me, even though you don't really need the 5% energy regen. The action advance is pretty nice. And then Pan Cosmic obviously is the best one in my opinion. However, it's a pain to farm, and I don't expect anybody to farm this crap, honestly. Space Healing Station is actually really nice. Gives you a lot of attack that you can actually... we have 36% attack from Space Healing Station and the 2-piece Musketeer here. And for this one, we're running a 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Pioneer or Prisoner, whatever this one is, with a Space Healing Station. Any of these, any combination of this will work. He's very, very flexible when it comes to relics. You're not really looking to do a lot of damage when it comes to Jiaoqiu. He really excels in debuffing enemies. And for that, I have a little bit of a scenario with Acheron. This is my Acheron spreadsheet, and I did some preliminary calculations here. This table right here is S5 Good Night Sleep Well E0 Acheron with Sparkle and Jiaoqiu. This one is the same thing, but with Pella instead of Jiaoqiu, because Pella and Jiaoqiu are the two top amplifiers when it comes to agility characters that Acheron has. Yes, they're both better than Black Swan, even though Black Swan is incredible. The damage amplification capabilities of Black Swan are not as strong as Pella's and not as strong as Jiaoqiu's. So I'm only going to be comparing Jiaoqiu to Pella because those are the only two in comparison. So this team is pretty much Acheron E0 with Sparkle and Jiaoqiu, and obviously adding Pella into the mix obviously is going to skyrocket the damage. It's 42% compared to everybody else. And then conversely, if you have Pella on the team, adding Jiaoqiu is going to add the most damage here, primarily because Jiaoqiu at base form is going to be providing Acheron to her ultimate damage with about 45% vulnerability, which is one of the craziest and most damage affecting stats or debuffs that you can have, because it doesn't have anything that detracts it. So adding vulnerability is always really nice, and Jiaoqiu has a lot of vulnerability. Obviously, if you combine vulnerability with defense shred, is obviously the better play. But you guys that have been following my channel, you guys should already know how to maximize your damage. All right, these two tables down here on the right side is S5 Good Night Sleep E0 Acheron with Sparkle and a Sustain. So this is going to be a team where you're not going to be maximizing Acheron's full double agility buff. And let me extend this real quick so you guys can see it a little bit better. Here we have a scenario where you have the base damage, and then this is by adding Pella to this team, and then this is adding Jiaoqiu to this team. As you can see, Jiaoqiu, the 45% vulnerability is just too much, and also Jiaoqiu does more personal damage than Pella. Also, Jiaoqiu's debuffs are pretty much up 100% of the time if you can play him correctly. and you have enough speed, they're up 100% of the time. Pella, once the enemies take the 2 turns, if they're not dead, you're going to have to reapply the 40% defense shred from the ultimate. So you have a little bit of downtime, not too much, but you do have a little bit of downtime. And as you can see, the defense difference between Pella and Jiaoqiu is about 18%, which, you know, like, this is a 4-star character that it's been in the game. It's been one of the best characters in the game since the game's release. So, I mean, it was time that they released a character that is similar, that actually competes with Pella. So now the bottom one is E2 Acheron. So this one we will be getting the 160% Acheron buff, and with the S5 Pearls of Sweat, obviously. So yeah, at E2 with the 60%, it's pretty much the same thing. It's going to be a little bit of a higher percentage, about a 22% increase when you factor in the E2, because we're actually factoring in the 160% buff that Acheron gets when you have 2 Nihility characters. And yeah, the buffs that Jiaoqiu just brings to the table are just too big. 145% vulnerability is not 145, just 45% vulnerability is very, very strong. And also, if he's doing the S5 Pearls of Sweat, you're going to have 16% defense shred as well. So that is where these numbers come from, which are the same as these numbers. And then if we just remove this, I'm just gonna do it real quick. And then Pella does 40 plus the 16, which means it's 56%. As you can tell, it's a little bit lower than our boy Jiaoqiu. I'm pretty sure his kit is going to end up changing eventually. So let me know what you guys think. Is he good? Is he broken? I think he's really, really good for the niche that he's in. He's going to be buffing Acheron's damage even further, like she needs it, right? She's already the best character, the best DPS character in the game. Obviously, she needs more buffs, right? So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And until next time, guys. See ya.